Twitch.com. Oh my gosh, what else? Twitter.com, as well as, well, actually, we're on Periscope and Facebook. 2 pages on Facebook. But right here, Don't Mind the Smoke. You know what I mean? We're in the booth. It's Christmas this week. So that's why I'm wearing this hat. I like themes. It makes the day go smoother for me anyways. But we got the man in the building. And some of you already know him. Some of you are probably surprised that we're in the same room. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it's just like, what? Him and him together? What? Yeah, man. It's Will Dridge from Will Dridge Ventures. How you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Thank you for coming on this episode of Candid Conversation Special Edition.
Great.
Oh
Great.
man,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, now we cracked open a monumental oyster last week when we had Swish Styles on here, because a lot of people see artists, but they don't see what make the artist. So last week we got another opportunity to dive into the working mechanisms of Swish Styles.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to talk to the man who really knows how Swish Styles works, but we're not going to talk just about Swish. We got to talk about Will Dridge Ventures as well. So I got to jump on here now because I got some questions on here that, you know, that I've been writing down over the past couple of weeks, just trying to make sure I got this. So
got a whole list.
A whole list, bro. So
jeez, all right.
Okay, so I gotta turn it this way. The mic can still hear you, but you know, I want them to be a little bit of a surprise. So all right. We'll start. When did Will Dridge begin? What was the birth of Will Dridge, the artist, the man, the businessman, the entrepreneur?
So Will Dridge, that's going back.
Yeah, man, we gotta know history, because you can't.
So I started really doing music stuff back like when I was like 12, man. I started writing poetry. My dad was in classic rock bands at the time, and they couldn't write a song to save their life.
Oh, shoot.
So I started writing poetry, and then we would sit down and turn it into whatever, you know, they could turn it into at the time. And then that led into hip hop around 13. Started producing, started making music under the name Ence at that point.
Ence?
E-N-C-E, Ence.
Ence. Okay.
Really stupid story how I got that name, but it was Ence.
Okay, that's a very unique name. I'm just okay. We'll come back to that if you want to, but yeah. So Nietzsche
had been popular at the time. Nietzsche clothing.
Yes, I remember. Okay.
So me and my buddy, my day one buddy, we were at his house. We're smoking weed. We were trying to figure out how to pronounce this. Is it Nietzsche? Is it NYC? Is it Ence? I thought it was Ence.
Okay.
He thought it was NYC.
Okay.
And at that point, you could go to like pronunciation on the internet, and it would tell you the name of companies.
Okay.
And that was when we found that it was a Nietzsche.
Okay.
And they all just they're like, bro, there's a Y in there. Where'd you get Ence from? And it just kind of became my name, and then I just used that. I used that for a little while. And then I started making music, started producing, did all the cool stuff I did as an artist, and then transitioned into management.
Okay, so what is, I guess, the crux of your focus then, where it comes to your aspirations? Because you do make music, you do graphic design, you do, you know, work with artist management.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so like, what is your, I guess, what's the crux of it, and what's the driving force behind that?
I mean, just to do things that most people struggle with, and to be able to help them and show them that they can, you know, achieve whatever it is they're trying to achieve. Like when I started to venture out of music, which I did a couple of times before the album, the HMV album and all that, I was running a nightclub in Hess Village. I was the promoter for everything there.
Hess Village in Hamilton, right?
In Hamilton, yeah.
Okay.
And I really wanted to do that, to be able to have an outlet to put artists that couldn't afford the crazy buy-on prices, to get them to be able to be like, hey, like, I'm not going to charge you. Just bring 5 people, 10 people. And then I did everything I did with the album. It did the HMV. It got the numbers it needed. It got me to the point where I was broke because I had spent everything on it. But I had achieved more than I had thought I would have achieved. And I had a lot of people in my circle that were like, man, like, you're really good at being an artist, but you have something special with the business knowledge of how the industry works and how to brand things and how to get people to pay attention.
So someone saw it in you as you were doing.
5 people.
Okay. So is that what sparked your career change?
Yeah, it was like really close friends, some people that are doing music and other businesses on a whole nother level, and different conversations over like an 8-month period, and everybody was like, man, like you should manage. Like, don't give up being a rapper, but you need to be a manager because you have the ability to pick things up that a lot of these artists don't have. And with that driving force behind them, like you could do some really crazy things. And it took me a while to, I guess, really accept the fact that if I was gonna do it, I had to 180 it. I couldn't be a rapper and be a manager, because nobody wants their manager to be an artist. Nobody wants like, you're going to be my manager, but you're a rapper. Are you really doing everything you can for me, or are you keeping some of that for yourself?
That's deep. That's right? Deep. And so, I just had this conversation with another man the other day. So funny.
It was really like, am I going to pack away the rapper aspect and really just push management?
Okay.
It took me a while to get to the point where I was comfortable with the idea of not being an artist anymore. It took me a little while, because that was like 12 years old, rapping in a mirror in my house, dreaming of crowds, and then achieving those crowds and seeing what I was able to accomplish. And then it's like, man, I'm just gonna walk away to help other.
But you saw it, you achieved it. So was it that bad to walk away from it? Because and would you really be walking away from it if you're helping someone else get to it?
It's a good question, man.
You know what I mean?
So yes, it's walking away in the sense that you perform. You know the feeling of getting off that stage and everybody's running up and handshakes and high fives, and that's dope. Sign this.
Yeah.
You don't, like, even now when I do the hype for Switch Styles.
Yeah.
I don't get that. It's all him. It's everybody like, yo, your set was dope, but I'm just kind of like the afterthought. And that, call it an ego, call it whatever you want to call it. That was, one of the first things I noticed was like that excitement of getting off the stage and knowing that the crowd loved it. And it's like, but they don't. It's
like the superhero becoming the sidekick.
It's like I went from being Batman to being Robin.
Yeah.
At this. Right.
Okay.
Right. Okay. But at the same time, like every accomplishment that the business clients get, every accomplishment that Switch Styles got, this year, felt good. It felt good to be able to look at it from the outside and be like, like, we did that.
Nice.
Without having the stress of, those are my numbers, those are my views, those are my sales.
Okay.
More of being able to sit back and be like, like that idea worked, and enjoying the wins without having to have the stress of it being my product.
Okay. Now that's enlightening to see or to hear, because, like, one, I wasn't sure where the artist was in this scope, in the realm of your existence. And I know, was it last year? I think it was last year, the year before, you were nominated for a Niagara Music Award.
Mm-hmm.
It was last year.
It was last year.
Yeah. And then
this year I was nominated for promoter.
Yeah. We were in a good company.
We were, yeah.
We were in a good company this year. Like, okay. So
Rob, I think Rob Repos took that. Yeah, and I'm not mad at that at all.
I can't complain about that. The man, he's put me on shows, so like,
yeah.
Yeah, man, definitely. Shout out to Borderline as well. They have their open mics every Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So okay, now there's two questions that kind of coincide, that I think coincide with each other, but correct me if I'm wrong. We're gonna kind of jump forward into something. Okay. I remember I scrolled through my pages. I'm not as active on social media as I should be. I'll admit that. But there's sometimes I go on social media and I see things. And I saw this and I thought it was a spoof. So I have to ask you directly, the same way you asked me about that GPS. Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know, yes, if you Google my address, which I'm not going to tell you right now, you will see a picture of me sanding down my 1996 GMC Jimmy. It's true. I'm Google famous.
No, you're Street View famous.
I'm sorry, I'm Street View famous.
You didn't even blur out your face.
Nothing. No. Because I know people who work for Google. So he probably saw me. You turned and you were smiling, like waving at the camera. I saw him coming up the street. I'm like, this is my chance. I looked and I posed and everything. And it's like, I'm telling you.
That should be your profile.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I should find a way to get that. I should get that. If you see that screenshot and send it to me, bonus. I'll send you my Similar Differences EP. But it's not even mine. It's our Similar Differences album. Shout out to Zach Burry. There you go. But I saw this and I have to add the GoFundMe page. Mm-hmm. Was that a spoof?
Which one?
I only saw one.
I had two.
Oh man.
I had one that was mine, and then I had one that was something that Kush McLeod, Sean Smith, photographer friend of mine, was doing that I had shared.
Okay.
So I did have a GoFundMe page for like 2 days. I was going through some stuff at that point in time, some financial situations, and then a friend of mine suggested I try a GoFundMe page. So I reluctantly listened to what that person told me, and it just didn't get received very well.
No,
I thought it was in hindsight, it was probably a bad look. Being a guy that was going through some financial stuff, but not putting it out there to the public, and then bam, GoFundMe.
So looking at it that way, but I was looking at it from like, man, the man's reaching for help, and everybody just slapping his hand and talking shit about him. Well, not everybody, but like, you know.
Yeah, I had a lot of people message me. Like, I had a lot of people inbox me, like, bro, like, what's going on? And then I would tell them, and they'd be like, oh man, if I had something, I'd send you it. And then I had a lot of people messaging me on it, like, the fuck are you doing? Like, get rid of that. Like, that's a bad look.
It wasn't from perspective. It wasn't it was a shock to me, because I had seen, every time I had seen you, and you conduct yourself in a way that, if you don't ask, you don't know that there's a problem. Right. So I'm like, okay, this is surprise. I just saw him at the club. You know what I mean? We was just politicking. So like, how did this not come up? You know what I mean?
You're in the same beer for the whole show. I couldn't afford to buy a second one.
Oh man, and that's something that people don't realize. It's like, I remember times where I was down to my last quarter tank of gas, and I had to go half a tank's drive, and you know, what I mean? People are jumping in the car like, yeah, let's go, and I'm just like, okay, you're gonna throw some dough? No, all right, because I own the car, I gotta pay for that too, right? All right, cool. Yeah. Putt. What you gotta push.
I'll take you there, but you're pushing. Yeah. No, and then I shared it. It was a GoFundMe. He had done a GoFundMe page. The premise of his was that he wanted, if you could afford to give a little bit of money, give money, and then he was gonna pick like a whole bunch of people that were struggling around the time the pandemic happened, and he was gonna divvy the money out to help like single mothers and families. And I had shared that post, and then I don't know what he ended up. Like, I don't know what the outcome was. I just showed him some love for that. But yeah, no, the first GoFundMe page was me. It was a real GoFundMe page, but a lot of family had called, and I was like, okay, bad idea, take it down. Sorry.
This is one thing I want to say to the community, like in general. When someone asks for help, especially a man, which is not something that's easy for us to do because we're expected to be able to do it all.
Not at all.
People need to actually be like, if you can't help, shut up. Really. And then maybe try harder. You know what I mean? just try to help somebody in your circle when you're
not even that. Like if you see somebody that you wouldn't expect is going to post something like that, and they post it, reach out, message them. What's going on, man? Like, I just saw your post. If you can't help them, if you can't physically afford to help them, reach out, man. Have a conversation. I had a lot of people that knew what I was going through at that point in time financially, and they couldn't help. They were just not in a financial place where they could even, think about giving me money. But conversations, man, conversations can change a mind state, completely 180 a mind state at that point in time. Sometimes it's very hard to get out of a situation when your mind is drowning in that situation.
I hear you.
So, like the ones that messaged me, like, like, what are you doing? I pulled it down. It would have been a lot nicer if those people would have messaged me with a like, hey, what's going on? Let's have a conversation. Let me at least talk to you and get you back into a good state of thought.
It's like,
but at the end of the day, it was received how it was received, and it was not received very well. So I pulled it down and called it a day.
It's like the difference between being told to calm down and being asked why you're mad.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Yeah. I just want to put that out there on wax because, like, I didn't know exactly what to do because I was just like, all right, like, we weren't really on the level. Like, we had talked, but I didn't know, like, it was just in passing conversation. So it's just like, I hope things go better for her, but, like, other than that, that's all I could really do.
Nobody knew what I was going through at that point because, like, again, I was going to the shows. I was, like, I very rarely, and hopefully this doesn't change because I'm saying it, but I very rarely pay to get into venues. I very rarely go into a venue and pay for every single drink. So I'm going to shows. There's people there that know me. They're buying me a drink. I'm getting in for free. I'm dressing the part. I'm fitting in. Meanwhile, I'm negative X amount of money in my bank account, and everybody thinks everything's all handshakes and high fives, when in reality, I'm escaping for that one moment and then going back to my own problems behind the scenes.
Okay. Side note, man's outfit is fresh. He's got the black on white kicks with the white hat and the black suit. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here like I had to throw on my. It's a good thing I threw this damn shirt up. And you had me looking ways on my own show.
That's when you get a little bit back on your feet.
I tell a lot of people this. There's 7 billion people in the world to tell you can't do it. You got to be one of the people to tell yourself you can. Straight up, overcome the obstacles.
So, I mean, the GoFundMe was real. I was in a really bad place. Me and my wife were fostering at the time. And then our house was deemed too small, and it was within a matter of like a week, done. Kids are gone. Almost a year. Ooh. And then a phone call, which I posted that on Facebook, so people knew I was fostering at the time. So phone call on a Wednesday. Your house didn't pass the final inspection. It's not big enough, which, I mean, there was 10 people in my house at the time. And it's a 4-bedroom, like, bungalow, I guess, like a basement and then the upstairs.
Yeah, that's a bungalow.
Yeah. So just Wednesday afternoon, hey, the house is not big enough. You didn't pass final approval. We're coming Monday morning. Done.
Ooh.
Say bye, do whatever.
They're not even thinking about the kids with that process.
No, not at all. So when that happened, that income source, because there was 4 children living in our house at the time that were related to my wife, and they wanted one of us to be a stay-at-home parent, so she left her job and stay at home. So instantaneously money stops. It's now one income, which isn't enough to support the household. We're in the middle of summer, the worst time to find a job. My wife's shooting out resumes. She's going to interviews. It's the middle of summer. Everyone's like, oh, we're going to be hiring for Christmas rush. We're full right now, but we'll interview you. And that was the beginning of the downfall of not having enough coming in that needs to go out. And it took us a good 8-9 months to get to a point where we're back on our feet in the sense that bills are like, I'm not rolling in cash, but my bills are paid.
That's
and
what
I'm
matters.
Not stressing over, it's whatever, the 20th today. Can I pay my rent in 11 days? Like I know my rent's gonna get paid.
Okay, and those are the key things. And once you can build on that, then you know what I mean. Like I find, I stress when like I have my statements paid automatically, so I don't have to think about them. The only thing I have to do is transfer the money from the account when my income comes in, and I put it in the savings, and then when I know it's coming out, I'll put it back into.
See, I don't do that because corporations are crooked.
Yeah, I know they're crooked, but I have them, bro. Yeah. I'm telling you, we can talk about that.
Your phone bill will come out, and then you'll look at the bill and be like, "These motherfuckers charged me an extra $40."
Yeah, and then I'll call them and say, "You charged me an extra $40."
I'll pay you when you fix that.
No,
I play with my money like that. No, but I get what you're saying.
I have a 20 gigabyte plan. I didn't use 7 gigabytes for 6 months. I called them and I said, "How much do I have to pay if I go over?" They're like $15 a gigabyte. I said, "Okay, so for the last 6 months, I've had 7 gigabytes left over on average. So I want 7 times 6 times 15."
How'd that work out for you?
They gave me about a month and a half of my statement off. And my statement's about $100. So yeah. Kind of bad now. You know what I mean? Shout out to Fido.
Sometimes, and people don't understand this. Like we're going way off topic right now, but
that's cool.
If you pay your bill for 6 months straight, no issues.
Yeah.
And then you call them and you're like, "Hey, as long as they can justify, like loyalty department or retention or whatever the company, as long as that agent," so I worked in cell phones for years, man. I worked at call centers, I worked in retail stores. As long as that retention agent can justify why he did what he did, and at the end of the day, the outcome is we made a loyal customer happy, and now he's going to stay. He's probably going to upgrade. He's not going to go somewhere else. They'll do whatever. Like we've been with Kudo for almost 10 years. And whenever there's any problem, Kudo, when I couldn't afford the phone bill, man, Kudo gave me 3 months free. They literally wiped. I think I owed them 5 months worth of my bill. And I called them and I was like, "You guys are going to cut me off tomorrow. It's going to happen. I can't pay you. There's nothing I can do. I don't want to lose this, but I'm telling you, I'm going to lose this tomorrow because I cannot afford to pay you." And the guy wiped out 3 months. And then put me on like a 6-month payment plan, which is unheard of.
Yeah, because they usually only give you like 3
But
max.
We've been with them for like 10 years, and for the most part, we've never had an issue with our Kudo bill.
And that should mean something when you're actually showing. And I'm gonna look into the camera directly now. It should mean something when someone shows loyalty to you, and you are, you know what I mean, you're getting the service or the payments that you require from that. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to those companies that have been doing something for their customers. Because, like, I always notice that the new customer gets the perk and everything, but then you've been there 3, 5, 7 years, and it's just like, what do I get?
Yo, fun fact.
Okay.
Fun fact. So, because I do graphics and all that, I have Adobe Photoshop.
Yeah.
And I had Illustrator. Okay. Those are the 2 programs I had.
Okay.
And I was paying, it was $21 a month US per program. So that works out to like $60, $70, whatever the exchange rate is at the time. So I got an email saying that they were offering the whole Creative Cloud package, all the programs, everything, for, it was like $39.99 a month.
Yeah.
So I called them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, I want to, take advantage." And the guy's like, "Oh, this is only new customers." And I'm like, "Of course. Why would an existing customer, why would you want me to save money?" So I said to the guy, I was like, "Listen," and I'm not going to say it live, but I said to the guy, I'm like, "Listen, we have 2 choices. We have 3 choices. I can delete my account, create a new account, and do some other stuff I'm not going to say because I'm not going to tell people how to do it. And I'll circumvent the system, and I'll become a new customer. Or I'll just cancel everything, and I'm sure I can find a bunch of programs online that'll do exactly what I need them to do. Or you can do something for me. I've been with you guys for almost 5 years.
Oh my God!
The new customer plan of $39.99. It was $34. It was $34.99. I now pay $24.99, and I have everything.
Fun fact, I have the masterclass suite for that whole program. Well, not for the good.
Do you? Masterclass is great.
Yeah.
We're going way off topic.
We're talking about things that relate to, you know what I mean, the business.
Masterclass. Yeah. Dead Mouse's masterclass was ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, okay. I watched. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. His house is phenomenal.
Okay, so I want you to walk me through something here.
Okay.
What was going on in your mind when you decided to go dark? And for those of you who want to make a joke, but I'm talking about online. There was a period of time where, and I remember I couldn't scroll without seeing like it was almost annoying, but that's how you have to be when you're marketing. You have to be like every third swipe, you know what I mean?
It was different though. It was never the same post.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't redundant. That's why I kept scrolling.
Yeah. There's the right balance of like, hey, we're doing this, but at the same time, hey, we can help you, and yeah.
A little bit of my personal life here, and then there's a little bit of, here's something you can do.
So here's how you do this,
Exactly.
And then I disappeared.
Yeah, gone.
For like 2 months, nothing. No Instagram, no Facebook, nothing. So, where was my mind at when I went dark?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell this story, and this will give everybody a good idea of where my mind was at when I went dark. Swish Styles shot the Be Me video with Young Stitch.
Yeah.
Pulls up to my house the day that we were shooting that video in it was either a Ghost or a Phantom. It was a Rolls Royce.
I think he said it was a Phantom.
It was either.
I think he said it was a Phantom because I asked him that question.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was a Ghost or a Phantom. Either way, it was a $500,000 Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
You get inside of it, you sit in the back, you push a button, the door opens for you. You push the button again, the door closes for you. Like it was
executive.
It was massage seats in the back that lean all the way. Buddy, you're sitting in the back of the car. So when he picked me up, I was in the front. And then we went and grabbed Stitch. And Stitch was in the front and I was in the back. And he's like, yo, I'm sorry that I'm putting you in the back, but like Stitch is the artist. And I'm like, bro, it's cool. And I'm sitting in the back and I'm just like, bro, you can just drive me around. I'll just chill in the back of this all day. I'm like, this seat goes all the way in the, and I'm like all the way almost in the trunk laying down.
Oh, wow.
I've got a little like table thing here. I've got a TV. I've got like everything. Like I had my own radio, like my own music setup and my own like heat. I could adjust my own. It was crazy.
Nonsense. Seat warmers and everything.
Yeah, the cup holder, you could turn it on and it would keep your like if you put a coffee in there, it would keep it heated. Like it was ridiculous. So he picks me up in this $500,000 car.
Yeah.
Pulls up to my house. I get in the car. I'm sitting in the car. There's photos on Facebook I took in the back seat with like the Rolls Royce thing behind my head. Right? Yeah. So I'm sitting in the car. We shoot the video. I think we did like 4 locations. And like the whole day we're just chilling. We hit up Starbucks. He had to buy me a coffee from Starbucks. I could not afford a coffee from Starbucks.
Well, that's how you know he's good people.
So he bought me the coffee from Starbucks. We're shooting the video. We're driving around. We're cruising a little bit, having fun because it's a Rolls Royce. You can't have all business. You gotta have some play, right? So we're doing that, and I'm gone. I think from like 10 a.m. I got home at like 8 o'clock. I think. Walked in my door, sat on my couch, and called my landlords and said, "I know this is the 4th month in a row, but I can't afford to pay you rent. I don't have it. What can we do?" That's where my mind was at when I was dark. I was doing everything I had to do to be the manager. I was doing what I had to do to make sure he was the artist was being branded properly. But on a personal level, once I got back into my house, it was just like, I've got to figure out how to get out of this situation. And, nobody had cared about the GoFundMe. And that's fine. I don't hold anybody to blame for that, but nobody cared about the GoFundMe. Nobody had the money to help me at that point. Nobody wanted to, or I guess had a need to take advantage of any of the multiple graphic promos I put out. Like I was doing, I do logos for $100. I was doing logos for like $30. I just needed the money. So I was like, I'll do your logo for 30 or your artwork or whatever. And it got to a point where nobody seemed to, nothing seemed to resonate with people at that point for whatever the reason was. And I got into my head very quickly that reaching out for help isn't an option. I need to figure this out on my own. There is no service. There is no anything that's going to pull me out of this place that I'm in. And I went dark. I was like, okay, enough. Like, I need to focus on
putting yourself out there so much. You had to just shut it off.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, like enough, like notoriety, you know, whatever buzz, fame, whatever you want to call it, none of that mattered. It didn't matter if I was the guy that could walk into a nightclub and drink for free. Didn't matter if I was the guy that could walk in a studio and every producer knew. It didn't matter if I was the guy that could phone a record label and talk to a friend of mine who works there. None of that mattered at that point in time. I was just a dude that was in a really bad place. And when I realized that, I went dark. I was like, okay, it's time to reshuffle my whole plans and get, you know, myself and my family out of this situation.
Okay, was that around August 2019? Is that between August 2019 and March 2020?
Yeah.
Okay. What else is
September?
What's happening during that time frame in your life? Like September to March, like pre-COVID, basically.
Just part-time jobs, man. I was just jumping on everything I could.
Okay.
I did have, and I mean, I don't think my family members are gonna watch this, to be honest. But
you never know.
But there were some family members that helped me out, and for that, I thank you. But I was just seasonal jobs, man. I was just trying to take as many part-time seasonal jobs as I could physically grab. You know, I was just,
At that point, people should respect the hustle, though. It's not like you're just sitting there like, okay, I'm giving up, the world is over. You're actually out there actively engaging in society, trying to overcome. And you know what? You're also correcting a misconception. People don't think this can happen. A lot of people, like, because, I mean, I went through my lumps. I got my lumps from the system, you know what I mean? And I thought, like, as traditionally a lot of people of my culture do, it's because of my culture. It's a lot of things happen because of your choices and your conscience, you know what I mean? But, like, hearing these stories now, I now realize, okay, this kind of stuff can happen to somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's not just me out there going through this. So what can I do to help people overcome or get past it, kind of thing? Yeah.
And it's true. Like, I've had ups, I've had downs. I've never been down that low. It was a time. I never thought that I would be down that low. Like, we were okay. Everything was good. Like, things were all right. But, you know, it's funny because it's easy for the people that have like an abundance of money to, oh, it's a mind state. Oh, it's this. No, it's literally just you become, human nature is to become complacent. In some form of the word complacency, you will become it, whether it's you buy lunches a couple times a week and then you become so accustomed to going out and buying lunches that you just don't even think, I'm going to bring this with me to eat. You just become so complacent with the idea of,
that's not lying, people.
No. or coffee.
That's where, like,
how many people go and get coffee? Like, I got an energy drink here. How many times do I go out in the morning and get right? So you become complacent where it's like, I can afford $3. It's whatever. It's $3, and it's every day. It's every day. It's every day. You come into a little bit of money. You save up a little bit of money. Then you're buying this. You're buying this, and it gets to a point where, especially this time of the year, where you're buying for everybody else, where the spending almost starts to become a habit. And the next thing you know, you're like, damn, I spent that much money.
I hate tax time.
Right. I mean, my situation was a little bit different. We had a bulk of money just stop. And it went from more than enough to take care of everybody and make sure bills were paid. And at the time, I was still running the print shop at the Jump Off. So I was making, like, you know, a good chunk of money there, to now we literally don't have enough to cover everything we need. But even now, like, you know, like, and that's the difference is, you know, if you're in that place now, you will get out. And if you're not in that place now, come up with a plan. Come up with a plan for January. Figure out how and what you can put away, and just save, man. Save.
It's not how much you make; it's how much you save. Because if you make $1,000 and you spend $800, it's the difference between making $500 and saving $2. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
And save a lot. Like when they say 6 months, I think it's 6 months they say you should have of your expenses put away.
Prior to this conversation, I think I heard 3.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you 6.
3 is not.
Three is not enough.
No, it's not. It can't be.
Dude, we had 2. We had 2 months worth of income of expenses put away when we had that happen.
Oh shit.
There was enough between what was gonna still come and what was put away.
Yeah.
There was enough to basically cover us for 2 months.
Okay.
And it wasn't enough. July and August, and then by September, it was like, okay, well, now what? Like, now we're in trouble.
And this is while you're out there with the job and the family.
That was the jump off. Yeah, I was doing the jump off. I was there every day. I was making, like, I'm not going to say what I was making, but I was making like a living. It was a living.
Okay.
And then I went to a one part-time job, a Halloween store, and then I went to a jewelry store for seasonal, and then I ended up working for a call center for Facebook.
This guy's resume is diesel. You just said a call center for Facebook. Y'all didn't
work at a call center for Facebook.
Like,
and then COVID, the lockdown happened, and interesting chain of events conspired that I won't go into full detail on, but an interesting chain of events conspired between,
You use some words in ways that I have not heard. Like the conspired and the exploited, and like there's a couple other ones that have just popped up, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting here like, because I jump on words and like, no, that's not misuse of the word. He's just using it
properly.
Using it properly. There's not a lot of people that use these words as effectively.
I'm letting the education come out that most music guys don't show.
Oh man, yeah, because it's like smart music that doesn't coincide. Yeah. It's like football.
Like, yo, what up? Yo, you know what I mean? So like back then, dog, like
man,
I'm sitting here talking intelligent. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But no, it was just an interesting chain of events between my wife, who worked at a mall at the time, and the mall shut down. So then in my mind, it was like, okay, what do we do? EI. You've worked enough, EI. EI became CERB. That money came in. Okay. And at that point, they gave everybody like extra. So they overpaid.
Okay.
And then they recuperated it later.
Okay.
So you get like if it's $2,000 a month, they're going to give you $3,000 a month when you first get it. And then 3 months later, you're going to get nothing for one period because you're going to be, you owe us $1,000.
Okay.
So it was a combination of that. It was a combination of the good. I was making good money for the call center, mixed with income tax returns and everything. Okay. And it kind of
everything's coming up Will Dridge.
Everything was Millhouse at that point.
Yeah. He knows.
Everybody was coming back Millhouse, and then once that happened, I slowly started to come back on social media while trying to figure out, like, okay, I can't have this happen again. No. Like idiocy is letting the same circle repeat itself. Yeah. And I've had the circle repeat itself a couple times, never quite as bad as that dark period was. So now it's like, okay, what do we do? Because there's a misconception within the culture is that people always you don't really hear people saying I want the fortune. People are like, I want the fame. I want to be that guy that everybody knows because that brings the money. No, man, I can go to
a lot of people know me.
I know a lot of people.
Shit.
It did nothing for my bank account when
Between the two of us, we could probably put on a hip hop festival. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
We probably could.
You know what I mean? But
so it was just a combination of a bunch of things that happened at the right time and just being smart and really making sure that you understood, like I have a lot of friends that did the CERB through the CRA.
Okay.
And they weren't eligible, and now they have to pay back. And they're like, what did you do to make sure you were eligible? And I'm like, I applied for EI. Because EI will check. Like, EI made sure at that point. I don't know if they did later on, but when it first started, if you were eligible for EI, then you got it based on that.
Okay.
And when everybody was getting 26 weeks or whatever, like, because I ended up getting laid off from the call center job because of COVID.
Okay.
And I had a certain amount of weeks. It wasn't necessarily the full, like, we're giving you 26 weeks. It was like, you're entitled to either more, so we'll give you 26 and then you'll get more after, or less, and this is what you're getting.
Okay.
So it changed my whole mind state on like everything. It became to the point where it's like, you know, like, do I really need this? Is this needed? Do I need this? And if I don't need it, do I want it? What's the value in it? You know, is it worth it to me? Like this tracksuit, I got this tracksuit for half price. Everybody's like, oh man, you were broke, and then you got out of being broke, and then what do? You buy a $200 Roots tracksuit. And I'm like, bro, I paid like $99 for this tracksuit. It's like a one-day flash sale, members only, and my wife's got subscriptions to all those websites.
They never know. It's like people judge based on my jewelry.
Right.
Like, this is a $300 camera right here. I didn't pay $300 for it. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta assume. People are assuming the word, like assuming. Oh, look at that. He must have. Well, if he has, then I should have. And if I don't have, then why should he have? No. You gotta look for. You gotta make your mark and establish yourself in the way that you want. Like, you know what I mean? You've tested the metal. You've put your work in. You've done shows. You know what I mean? All of that stuff. But there's a lot of people who don't acknowledge that because either they're new to the region or they're new to the scene and they haven't seen what's being done. And it's just like, nah, that's not how it should be. It's
two
like
for $4.
2 for $4.
I'm not spending $3.50 for one can.
Why?
2 for $4.
Exactly.
I got this hat at Winners. It was like $12.
Oh damn.
You can walk in a Foot Locker, you get the same hat for like $49.
Something like that.
$12 at Winners.
I'm telling you.
Why?
It doesn't make sense.
You could still look good. You could still wear brand name clothes. You know, like, I don't care about the Roots name. It's a comfy tracksuit. It's warm.
Me and my wife talk about this all the time. You could be you could have financial issues and not look like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. There's no.
You're not wrong.
You know what I mean? There's people who like. I mean, I understand there's desolate situations. I've been in desolate situations, but like if you have your roots amongst you, you know what I mean? Like,
roots.
Yeah. if you have your roots right, so to speak, you know what I mean? Like, you can develop. Yeah, branches will fall off and leaves will fall off, but that'll make room for more growth, kind of thing. If you prune the tree properly, everything will happen and the right way. And like, there's a lot of people who just assume, okay, if I do this, that's going to happen because it happened for them. And that's not the way it is. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, even the way I dress, like, every day. So I wear a lot of khaki pants. A lot of just gray khaki pants, beige khaki pants, green khaki pants, black. A lot of khaki pants. Not with all, like, the pockets. Like, but, like, just
cargo pants. I rock me some cargo pants.
Yeah,
I got my slacks on right now.
Just khaki pants. And it's funny because people will come up to me and be like, yo, those, like, the fit of those is really, like, I like where'd you get those? Urban Planet, Blue Notes. They were like $20. Oh, you shop there? Yeah, bro.
I don't see no problem in that.
No, all the time. Dude. They get their fucking buy one, get one a penny sale.
Yeah.
I'll go buy like 5 pairs of pants. $20 a pop. I'll buy 4 pairs.
Yeah.
I spend $40. I get 4 pairs. Because you buy one, you get one a penny.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Khaki pants.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, they're versatile.
You throw on a nice pair of shoes, throw on a nice pair of Timbs, a nice T-shirt.
Yeah, golf shirt even.
So I'm wearing a Switch Styles T-shirt under this.
Switch Styles, shout out.
I am actually. Fucking fine. Look, I'll show it. There you go.
Yeah,
you can get it at switchstyles.com. Yeah.
That's great. That was great. That's definitely funny. Like, I thought I was bad.
No, no.
No, like you gotta. Even when you said the jump off, I'm about to say the address.
They know where to jump off.
Yeah, man.
If not, they can Google it. Google's powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Google's powerful.
It is very powerful. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could like. So here's a question: how has technology? It's still recording.
Man's not even reading his thing anymore.
No, not I. No, yeah, man. No, how has technology changed your approach to the music industry? Because, like, not to date you or anything, but if you
not nearly as bad as COVID has, but geez, COVID really changed a lot. But I think I don't know, man. I don't know how to say this. On one level, I think technology has really fucked up the music industry. On another level, it's made it easier. But in making it easier, it's really fucked it up. Yes. So like when I came up, it was CDs. It was on a street corner all day, giving them away for free, selling them for $5.
And writing on them.
Here's my tip. Hey, I'll sign your name. What's your name with the Sharpie and -20 weather? Just trying to get them into every person's hand. And you know, like it was MySpace. There wasn't Facebook. You couldn't post and be like in the studio today. Like you had to go out. You had to be involved. You had to. And now it's like, I'm just gonna take a photo of myself in my booth. I'm gonna post it on Facebook. I'm gonna throw $20 in it, and I'm gonna get 10,000 people to look at it. And if 1% of those, 10,000 people check it, I'm happy. So it's made it really, really like just fucked up in comparison to before. With that said, what technology has allowed for, the negative is like everybody can do this now. Yeah. You buy a laptop, you get the programs, you can get Reason. So when I produced, and I still have the program, I used Reason. Propeller Head Reason, which is like, it's like Pro Tools, Logic, Reason, and then like Fruit Loops. Okay. Will.i.am of Black Eyed Peas did everything. Okay. It's like a serious program. So you can record in it, you produce in it. So like when I did Itty Bitty, which is what I was nominated for last year, I recorded that in Reason, produced the beat in Reason, and then sent it off to Swish Styles, producer and engineer, Thomas Al, shout him out. And then he kind of went with it and made it a little different than what I had and made it really good. Okay. So anybody can do this now. Anybody can go and for like $1,000 you can. I gotta stop you right there. Anybody can do it, but not everybody should do it. No, but so it's made it to the point now where the music world is so saturated. On the flip side, because of that, there's no more going to a label with a demo. It's now created a world of artists that either actually want it and will learn the business side and will get everything in pocket to where the label's just like, he did that, okay, we're going to throw money at him. And they have the ability now to say no and do what Chance the Rapper did, what Macklemore did. Those guys got Grammys with no label behind them. So there's good to the technology aspect. There's definitely bad to the technology aspect. I mean, I'm wearing an Apple Watch. Technology is, you got the same, I got the Samsung watch. Technology is like, oh, my phone's in the other room, but now you're looking at your watch, you're answering calls on it. Like, I mean, I could send messages on this thing. Like, I could handwrite on the face of my watch. Yeah, I can do all that. Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, technology has. I think like I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and they said that they're like, technology fucked the whole industry up, and I'm like, it did. In the sense that like nobody's doing 1 million, streams or 1 million sales. Like nobody will hit those Eminem or those, back in the day Drake numbers anymore because now it's stream. You're not going into, I had an album in HMV. The album hit HMV December of 2016. I got my first residual, I want to say March 2017. And along with that residual phone call was they're going bankrupt. They'll be done by April. Because everything's streaming. So that's what happened to. That's what happened to HMV. They went bankrupt. Okay. They went bankrupt, man, because nobody buys CDs. And then Sunrise took them over, but Sunrise, that place sells everything. Yeah. I'm surprised I'm surprised they don't have like a concession store in the back and everything. But I mean, so it made it to the point where you have to want it, and you have to either you know, learn how to do the business side of things and the marketing and the branding and, you know, build the fan base and generally care about your fans, or you need to be able to find somebody that can help you. And that's the one thing that I find super interesting with, you know, with the music scene is like, you know, like, yeah, I'm a music manager and yeah, 15% of nothing is nothing. But like, call me, you know? Like, hey, I've got a question. Just, you know, make sure you're not calling me every day with different questions. But like there's still people that I'll like, BPAX, Dylan. Me and Dylan will chat. He'll ask me questions. We'll shoot the shit. I'll give him advice. I'll give him feedback. Pluto Han, who, you know, went back to being independent, I'll still give the guy advice and feedback. You know, I have absolutely no problem with you know, giving people advice and feedback. You got to pick and choose, you know, like if you see an artist or a client that I'm working with and they're doing something and you're like, you know, how the fuck are they doing that? Call me. Everybody needs to, you know,
like you see, and this is the thing. This is the thing that people don't realize about you, and that I'm beginning to learn. Like, he's a humble dude. He just has no time for foolishness and fuckery. You know what I mean? Like, don't waste the man's time. Like, understand that he has a family that he's got to provide for, so he can't just be offering himself out for free. But at the same time, if there's a way he can help you without putting himself back.
Yeah, like there's so many things with the industry. So like I manage All Things Pawn Shop. That's my normal day job.
Yeah.
I also help them with their branding and all of that stuff. And then they just opened Quench Beverage Bar beside it.
Right next
we
door.
got Swish the sponsorship there for the hand grenade smoothie.
Yeah.
So I help them with the branding. I help them with the marketing. I help them with all of that stuff. I'm like the owners, and then I'm like here. My official title is like manager in training, but like I help them with whatever they need help with.
Okay.
And then obviously I manage Swish.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why, as an artist that's trying, like, you're looking at, we'll use Swish Styles example. You're looking at Swish Styles. You're like, the man did 250,000 views in 30 days on said music video. How? I don't understand why you wouldn't call and be like, hey, what do I have to do that?
Because it's easier to speculate. I don't want to talk to you. I just want to do what you're doing and talk shit about you doing it so you don't do it again.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not supposed to have that kind of success. I don't have it yet. Like,
and that's the thing is like, you know, like if we're gonna bring this city to a point, this region, forget the city. If we're gonna bring the Niagara region to a point where we're going to be looked at by the Juno Awards. We're going to be looked at for Canadian Music Week. We're going to be looked at as the next, I don't want to say the next Toronto, but like
the only Niagara.
Yeah, like, you know, like Toronto is where Toronto is because Drake put them on. There's no reason why we all can't come together and create something really special in Niagara. We got to come together, man. Don't see what I'm doing with a client and then just hate on me and that client. Call me and be like, man, what do I like? Obviously, there's things that I can't give answers on, but like, be like, hey, it's the block. You know, I just saw that you guys did 300,000 views in a month. What can I do to achieve that? And I'm gonna be like, cool. Do you have this much money you can throw out? Can you create? Do you understand how to run an ad? Can you do this? Can you do that? Does your Instagram branding match your website's branding? Are the color schemes the same? If I Google your name, am I going to find everything? Or do I got to go to Block online? Maybe this is the case. And if it is, I'm sorry.
No,
but am I going to go to
Block? You'll find me more often than not. Like, if you Google the Terrell effect with the hashtag, you'll find it. There's some, the website is probably my it's one thing that has aggravated my soul for the last 5 years.
We'll talk. I work with, I do everything with Wix, and I'm like a Wix expert, which is cool. It's a cool title for I really know how to drag and drop what it is.
It's like,
but regardless,
sore spot for me. But yeah, there's things that people aren't aware they can do to get to where they want.
It's like you know, like I don't know, like Joe James is a rapper, we'll say.
Okay.
And it's the real Joe James music on Twitter. But then Instagram, it's at Joe James. But then his website's Joe James Music.
Yeah.
His Facebook is like, your _ boy Joe.
Yeah.
And I'm going on the internet and typing in Joe James, and I'm not finding anything.
Yeah.
Because nothing is unison.
Okay.
So now I'm a fan, and I'm like, I'm at the show, and I'm like, I want to find Joe James, and I'm searching Joe James on Instagram.
I Google this shit. I know I'm like the fourth David Tyrell that comes up, but let me see what happens when you Google the block online.
I've never actually Googled the block online, so I couldn't tell you. But I can tell you if you search Will Dridge. I mean, I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a...
Really?
No, I got rid of Twitter a long time ago. Twitter never benefited me in any way. I never saw a benefit to it, like personally. Like same with TikTok. I had a TikTok for like a couple weeks, and I'm like, man, I don't have the time to post these creative things. Switch Dials just got a TikTok.
I do a TikTok.
But yeah, so Will Dridge. So music, website's there, songs, profiles, video. The whole first page is me.
That's what pulls up when you Google the block online. I gotta complete my profile. The rest of that stuff, that's me.
Oh, you're closed today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I opened just for you, bro. Yeah. So I have taken some pointers from conversations that we've had before, because anybody who thinks they knows it all is a true fool. And
I don't even know it all, man. There's a lot. There's things that I'm still like seeing, and I'm just like, damn, I never thought of, like, I'm gonna try that, or
like, I never thought you were that open to conversation personally.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But then again, I've only ever seen you at a venue.
Yo, fun fact. So, do I have the picture still? I should. So Eminem dropped that "Murder to Be Music" by
Music to Be Murdered by.
Murder B-side, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I have forms. If an artist is being featured on a song and we're not sure if the song is going to be released, when the song does get released, there's things we send to the featured artists.
Yeah.
But mine doesn't look as good as the one they posted to confirm that the album was coming out. So I literally screenshotted that because I was like, that layout is way better than mine. I'm always learning.
That's dope.
So that was on his Twitter, but this was, somebody shared it on Facebook, and I was like, that release confirmation letter looks way better than the one I'm using. So I screenshotted that, like, hey, maybe I should take a page from what Shady Aftermath's doing.
It's not like they're not successful at what they're doing.
Nah, it's not like their lawyers don't know what they're doing. Not that I'm copying what they're doing, but I'm like, that's a much better layout than mine.
You can't expect not to have influence when you're, when you're at that magnitude.
Right.
So, all right. Oh man, I have a producer coming through just now. This is gonna be interesting. Yeah. So, oh man, I think I've gotten wait, hold on. Let me see if there's anything that I didn't ask, because we kind of went off topic a little bit, but that's what I'm going to ask you, because this is something we've talked about. Like, what's your secret sauce? That was a viewer question.
My secret sauce?
Secret sauce.
In which context?
Oh, that's for you to divulge which aspect. You know what I mean? Because you've been dropping some jewels, and like you've been dropping some gems, and if people are paying attention, they'll realize there's a few things they can do with their own careers that, like the Facebook ads you were just talking about. Y'all might want to rewind to 15, 20 minutes.
Facebook ads.
But like just as a point of what
you want me to drop. Okay, so secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce. I'll give the secret sauce for artists. The secret sauce is that there really is no secret sauce.
Jeez.
It's an ecosystem. It's an engine with various moving parts, and they all have to be going in sequence. And if one of those moving parts is lacking, it's going to affect the overall performance of what you're trying to do. So
for example, production, the creation of the product, the production of the product, the promotion of the product.
So if you're sending me, production of a product, if you're sending me a song, and that song just sounds like every other fucking song on the radio, there's no meaning to it, there's no emotion to it, there's no rhyme or reason why you made the song, except because you heard DaBaby and you're like, I'm gonna try to do what he does. The listener, and myself included, there's no emotional grasp to that song. It's just cool. It sounds like I'm a Factor jury member, man. I just reviewed Grants the other day, and a lot of these guys are doing what, you know, what's on the radio. And like, I understand the concept. Make something that's hot. Like Swish Dials, we put out Hand Grenade. It was a pop song because pop is what's in. But that song was so emotional. It was meaning. You could hear it in his voice. That's what's going to sell. That's what's going to make people either that or just come with like raw bars over a crazy hype beat that's going to get me super excited. So that, make sure your production is right. Make sure the performance is right. Make sure if you're listening back to it and you're like, oh, I could have said that word a little better. It sounds kind of off. Then go say the fucking word better.
Yes, too many times.
I tell Swish all the time, like, you have a studio in your house. Don't send me something and be like, I got to redo the second verse. Redo the second verse, then send me. Let me hear it. When you're, you know, when you have a song, don't just fucking release the song. Don't wake up on a Monday and be like, new singles coming out today. Plan that shit. Come up with a strategy. What is the artwork going to look like? How is that going to tie in with your visual brand? How is that going to tie in with the look and feel of you as an artist and your image? How do you want to release this? Do you want to send it to Spotify editorial playlists and see if you can go that route? Do you want to send it to blog sites? Do you want to send it to DJs? What do you want to do with the song? Figure all of that out before you even send the record to 20 of your homies. Figure all of that out and then come up with your strategy, come up with your plan, get it out. And run with it. Keep running with it. Listen, like, everyone's like 3 months is all an indie artist really gets from a track. They're not wrong as an indie artist. On the flip side, Hand Grenade came out in August, and we just got him the sponsorship deal last month.
Ride that wave to the crest.
Ride it. 24 Karat Magic was what, a year and a half? They were pushing that 24 Karat Magic song of Bruno Mars?
Something like that.
It was like a year and a half they were running.
Happy was running for at least 8 months.
Happy was almost a year. Run with it. Once you find something that works, run with it.
Yeah.
And don't try to replicate it. Don't Nickelback yourself. Don't Nickelback yourself. Just
they do sound a lot the same.
Because they found their formula that worked, and then they were like, we're gonna write 40 songs that all sound like You Were Mine. Or whatever it was. This is how you remind me, or whatever. Picture.
Yeah.
So, I mean, another thing. Yeah. It's gonna be stuck in my head now. Shows. When you're doing shows, network, man.
Talk to people.
Get
around that circle. Have your business cards. Have a CD or USB or
no. Don't even do business cards.
Not a business card?
No, man. One out of every 10 business cards gets kept. 9 out of 10 get thrown out.
Use your phone and put the number directly in there.
No, man, do this.
I know what I'm about to do as soon as this damn delivery comes in, but I gotta wait.
What are you getting?
I got this item coming in that will kind of create. Will send the signal to the phone right away. So.
QR code on your phone.
Yeah.
Hey, you have a business card? No, man, but if you open up your camera and scan the QR code, there's all the information you need.
Where's the QR code?
I didn't show you the QR code.
Okay, I was about to say.
But that's where the QR code will take them.
Okay.
What do you tell them? Tell them what you're looking at.
You're looking at the Swish Styles page, really, the recording artist promoter, Distorted Views Entertainment. His Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music.
That's Tidal and Deezer.
Yeah, Tidal and Deezer.
Yeah, link right to his website, management information.
Yeah, phone number and email address with a QR code. Yeah, something like that. It's something like that.
Because what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen then? I'm gonna leave the club. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go on the internet for something and be like, oh yeah, that was the dude that was performing that I liked. Yo, let's go to his Instagram. Let's follow him. Where's your business card gonna end up? You want to be honest? Where's your business card gonna end up?
I don't know.
It's gonna end up in my wife's purse, and when she cleans that out at the end of the month, it's gonna go in the garbage because she's gonna be like, "You want this card from so and so?" And I'm gonna be like,
I still keep cards, so
Some people do, man. Cards and, some people do.
Like with this latest card that I have my QR code on it. So, so yeah.
Some people do.
But
yeah, get out there, man.
It makes sense. But yeah, it's basically getting out there. I know, like when I have something from an artist, or like when I went to the Robbie G show, you know what I mean? The man had his whole album, his whole anthology out, offered me a deal on it. I said, okay, you know what? Out of respect for the hustle, you know what I mean? I'm going to get that. And, you know, he signed every single one of them individually. You know what I mean? I respect the shit out of that because he didn't have to. He could have just said, here, thanks, bye. You know, and
Robbie G is I've known Robbie G for I don't know, like 2014. Robbie G is like, he knows his shit. He's got his shit. Shout out to Robbie G.
Shout outs. Supposed to do a show for him before the COVID happened.
Yeah, we had a lot of shows booked before COVID.
So
COVID 180'd everything.
Ramshackled, man.
I like that. I like that. It discombobulated the whole thing.
Oh, I'm telling you.
No, COVID, yeah. Golly gee.
Oh, man.
COVID didn't so much change the formula of things as it did, because the same shit that I did. This is how simple branding can be. I'll let them know this. This is how simple branding can be. Aside from paid advertising, because I didn't do paid advertising in 2016. I didn't even have a Facebook page in 2016. I don't have a Facebook page now. I got rid of it because I don't need, for what I do. I have an Instagram and I have like the profile.
Okay.
But I didn't have a Facebook page in 2016. It was the profile that I use now is all I had. And I had an Instagram and I had a Twitter. The exact same formula that I used to promote my album that made it to HMV is the exact same formula that I use to push Swish Styles, with the exception of the strategy. So the formula of this is what we're going to put out, and this is where we're going to put it out, and all of that is the same.
Okay.
The context and the content has slightly changed, and then was slightly changed again when COVID happened, because people are either on their phones all the time or very rarely. Because what COVID did was it basically forced you to stop working and remember, we have a family that I should spend time with. I've got relatives I haven't called. Hey, man, I like my phone's over there and nobody's bothering. This is nice. So it's one of the two. Either you're bored as shit, or you're not on it very often. So the way that you put the content out hasn't changed, but the content itself has, because attention spans are so much lower. And there's so many, like, walking out of my plane, like, do you want one of these? Sponsored ads on Facebook. So now you really have to show the value immediately. But the same formula, the same tactics, the same shit that I did in 2016 to get people to give a shit. It's the same friggin' document on my laptop. And I'm just like, all right, so we're going to drop this track. All right, so which one of these 15 things that we've already done are we going to do with different context?
Okay, so
and then
formula.
You throw the paid advertisement in there, and it gets it to other places and other people, and that allows you to expand outside of your friends and their friends in a faster pace. But it's expensive, man. Not everybody has money for advertising. Advertising budgets are
most important. A good portion of the production aspect of the requirement to get the production out there, but we can talk about that another time. Is there anything you would like to say in closing? Because we have had quite the candid conversation. This is episode 72. You know what I mean? I'd like to welcome you back at any time we can arrange, and then we could, maybe drop some more jewels. So
I guess just at the end of the day, because I've had a lot of people ask me over the last like 6-8 months, like, what do you do? What do you do? What do you actually do?
Yeah, what is it that you do?
So to simplify that, because people are like, are you a graphic designer? Do you know branding? Are you a marketing guy? Are you an artist? Are you a manager?
So many hats you gotta wear.
I'm a creative director, meaning that I work with my clients and I work with the artists, making sure their visual identity, physical products, the mock-ups, the look, the feel, all of that is cohesive. So when you see, Swish Styles at the show, the outfit matches the look of the website matches the Instagram matches the artwork, everything's cohesive. I do that with brands too, and businesses. I do graphic design, and then I come up with strategy. At the end of the day, I'm not the guy that's in the studio with the artist. I'm not the guy writing the song with the artist. I'm not the guy producing the beat for the artist. I'm not the guy, I'm not the brain that's coming up with the lyrics. I'm the guy that's like, here, at least with the artists that I work with, here's 10 tracks. And then, this one's dope. This one's meh. This one's maybe good enough to release as a single. This one for sure is just a throwaway. And then once that's determined that, like, okay, these 5 tracks are hot, then we get to work. What's the art going to look like? How's it going to tie in with your color scheme? Hand Grenade, 1 Million color scheme was almost the same. Mm-hmm. And then White Witch, we flipped it a little bit to tie in with, like, the bleeding eyes and all that, which then matched his website, which then matched his dripping marker logo that we use that looks like a dripping marker. So everything was cohesive. And then the strategy of how you're going to release it, and how is that branding going to fit the image that we're trying to get across to people, and how does that correlate to your real life? So at the end of the day, it's a transparent meeting of the minds to help the artist. And then obviously I have, like, the music connections. I know the label guys. I'm a grant writer. I know how to do a lot of the business aspect, but a lot of it's just teaching. Like, if I walked away from Swish Styles tomorrow, I'm very confident that he would continue to do big things without me, because I've pretty much taught him a good chunk of what I know. Just fortunately, he doesn't have the time to do that. He doesn't have the time to leave. No. Me and Swish have been friends. I've known that guy now for like 4 years.
Yeah, like, you guys are like Farkas and Ash. You don't often hear one without the other. Yeah.
How we met was interesting too.
Okay.
Super interesting. I think I told you that on the phone, didn't I?
I believe so.
Yeah, nobody knows how I met him. Everybody always asks me that. They're like, yo, how did you meet this guy? How did you know this guy was going to be the, like, it's an interesting story. I was 2016, end of 2016. Actually, it was January of 2017.
Okay.
And I was managing, I was consulting. I wasn't even managing. I was giving them feedback and advice. Trying to get into a point where I could manage him, but I needed to get a feel for who he was before I made that choice. So I was doing like 60 days free consulting for this artist. And he had a show down here, and he called me the one day, and he's like, yo, the promoter cut my set from 20 minutes down to 5. And then the next day it was like, yo, the promoter took me off the show. And then the next day it was like, yo, the promoter put me back on, but it's only 15 now. And then like a week later, he's like, oh, I went from this time frame down to this time frame. It was like 2 weeks of, like, every time he talked to me, it was this promoter's doing this promoter's doing this promoter. So I got to the point where I was just like, yo, what the fuck is the promoter? And he knew Swish Styles as RJ. So he's like, it's this RJ guy. I'm like, all right. So like you're driving all the way down from, I think you lived in Sudbury, to do this show, to open for this headlining act, and this promoter is just dicking you around. So I'm like, yo, put us in a group chat. I'm gonna give this guy a call. I'm gonna figure this shit out. So he does it, and I get RJ's number, and I call him, and I'm like, yo, who the fuck are you? Like, this guy's coming all the way down, and I'm like, I'm not happy. And he goes, and this is where like after this situation is where I really earned respect for him, because his professionality was on point. I don't know who you are. In hindsight, I did know who he was, but I didn't know who. I knew who Swish Styles was. I didn't know RJ.
Oh.
because I had done some shows with Swish Styles.
Okay.
We did some Evil Ebenezer shows and stuff, but I didn't know an RJ. So I'm ripping this guy on the phone. Like, I'm just like, bro, like, what kind of fuck? You just put your fucking promoter pants on today, bro? Like, what are you doing? So he's, I was not a very nice guy. I'm like, yo, you just put your fucking promoter pants on today? Like, you just wake up and you're like, I'm going to shave my face like a promoter? Like, what are you doing? And his answer, his reaction to that, instead of being all like, badass and fuck you, he was like, can I send you something on Facebook and then we'll talk after that? And I'm like, I'm taken aback. I'm like, all right. He sends me screenshots of his conversation with that artist, where he's messaging that artist. It was a Cryptic Wisdom show. And he's messaging the artist saying, yo, sorry to do this, but Cryptic needs to be on stage by 9. He needs to be off stage by 10. He needs to be back at the hotel in the Falls by 10:45. So I've got to cut you down. I've got to do this. And then my artist never replies. And then he's like, hey, man, I managed to pull some strings. I'm going to try to push you back here. And what I'm reading is a promoter trying to bend over backwards for him because he's coming all the way from Sudbury. And the artist just not even acknowledging the message and then calling me and telling me a different story. So I called the artist and I was like, bro, I saw all the communication. I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. You just made me look like a fucking moron to some dude I don't even know. And now I've got to figure out how to make that right because I'm new to Niagara. And if this guy's booking big acts, he's not somebody I want to be, having a bad relationship with. Mm-hmm. So I wrote that artist off. I was like, bro, don't fucking call me. Like, fuck yourself. You're a fucking idiot. And I called him back and I was like, man, I'm doing this Dreams Do Come True tour for my album. Mm-hmm. And I'd love to have you be part of it. And he's like, as a performer or as a promoter? And I was like, what do you perform? And he started laughing. He goes, yo, you have no idea who I am, dude. I'm like, no. And he's like, Swish Styles. Oh, and I'm just like, bro, we performed like a month ago at Evil Ebenezer. I'm like, yo, I'm not like, so we squared it up. I brought him on the tour. He was like my special guest. Yeah. And then from there, we had a little Shopify business for a little while. That didn't, Amazon and Wish and all those guys just
drought.
Yeah, we just could not compete with those guys. So we shut that down pretty quick after we started it, and then
wait, hold on, pause. Are you saying you're partially responsible for like this wave of Amazon Wish kind of thing? Like, did you start an idea that they just took over, or was
no? We had a business, and some people might remember this because I was promoting it. It was called ShopCuban.com. And it was women's like accessories and apparel, so like sweaters and shirts and purses and hats, and it was my wife's idea, and me and her and Swish went in 3 ways to invest and get it going, and it was all drop shipping, and it was like we had paid an extra fee to have, like, if it's coming from China, it's being expedited, so nobody waited more than 14 days for it. The problem is that when you're a brand new company that nobody's heard of, and you can buy a sweater from us for $25, or you can go to like a company that's been around forever, where if there's a problem with it, you just walk into a mall, where are you going to go?
Yeah, I like to support mom and pop shops, but I usually go to the mall until I found somewhere where I could get my clothes branded.
So it got to a point where we had put a little bit in, not like a huge crazy amount, like we can go in debt for it, but we had put a little bit of money in, and it got to a point where it was like, as I'm running all the numbers, and I had like the I had the creepy, whatever that program's called, where it videos, like when somebody goes to the website, it videos what they're doing.
Yeah.
It doesn't show you names or credit card numbers, but it shows like they were on this page, and this is where they went, and this is what they added to their card, and this is how far they got it. It's all companies use it. That's why privacy policies are important. But it got to a point where I realized that we would have to put like probably like 5 to 10K to get everything just perfectly situated to where people were comfortable using it. We shut that down, and then shortly after that, we I sent him a song called Love Hate for his opinion. And the next thing I knew, I had removed my second verse, and we were in the studio, and that was a feature. And then around 2018, when he was dealing with some of the stuff he was dealing with, he got to a point where he was just like, you know, like, I need somebody that knows the business end of the music thing, and like you know, it's not fun anymore. It's too business now. Like, I just want to go back to making music and having fun. And I said, well, you know, what if I stop making music and I just manage it? And he's like, I don't want you to give up on you. And I'm like, bro, like, I've done some cool shit. Like the album that I dropped did more than I ever intended on it doing. It was supposed to be my last album, something where when my daughter gets older and says like, Daddy, I want to be an astronaut, I can be like, I want to be a famous musician. Here's what I made. And instead it made it to HMV, and I got a lot of cool shit out of that. So I was like, buddy, I'll drop everything and just manage you. So it's been
cool decision.
4 years that I've known him now. Yeah.
Maybe we should have you guys on the show together now.
Yo, I don't know if they're ready for that. Wow.
We'll see how that goes, because I like the idea, because like seeing the two of you in different settings and then like two of you together, that's a whole different ballgame. So yeah, let's talk about
that. Talk to his management.
Yeah.
Or reach out to his management.
Have his people call my people.
His people are right here.
Oh, my people's upstairs.
Are they?
Yeah. My wife, she does my management.
Does she? Yeah.
She's the one who's been hooking me up with some of these shows and stuff like that, get me connected with some of these people. A lot of the work she's done online, I credit to the nomination, because like nothing goes online in Niagara without her sharing it. So yeah.
Yo, shout out to the Luns. They've been trying to get me and you to work together for quite some time. So
shout out to Ryan and Jill.
Shout out to Ryan and Jill. They're getting their wish right now. Because there was a period where we had a miscommunication.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That was people talking out of place.
I thought me and Swish thought something about you, and you had thought something about us, and none of it was actually true. And
yeah, I just like
took some investigation and some conversation to really.
Because I'm hearing from people that I'm working with on this side, they're saying this, and then apparently you're hearing from people on your side that I was saying that. I'm just like. And then when we actually talk face to face, it's just like, okay, well, I heard. Yeah, well, it's funny because I heard, and then we realized no one heard anything directly from us. It was just like, okay, cool.
Well, after the whole, and I know Swish brought this up on his, but after the whole 12-mile fuck Niagara Choom Gang thing was squashed, after I was able to get that, at least to get both parties to talk about it. And shout out to Jarrell for getting his hair braided that day at the jump off, because that sparked the whole thing. But after that, I kind of sitting in my house, and I remember I was sitting on my couch, and I said to my wife, I said the whole Choom Gang Swish Styles fuck Niagara situation from that show is like it's going to be all taken care of. They're going to talk at the Niagara Music Awards. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, I'm going to call the block, and I think I'm going to call Dalton, and I'm just going to make sure like everybody's on the same page. And she just kind of looked at me, and she was like, okay. And then after meeting you, when we had like our first actual conversation at the Music Awards, I realized, and I said to him that night, I was like, because what was happening doesn't matter, but what was happening, we were being told was you. It was a fake profile on Facebook, and every time Swish would drop something or do something, somebody would be like, oh, isn't this the guy that shitted on the city at a show? And everybody was saying it was you to us. And and I don't know why people were saying that. So my impression was like, well, if 5 people are telling me it's the block that's doing this because he's butthurt, then it must be. And then I called you, and we had that conversation, and I was like, there's no fucking way it's this guy. Like, this is not his demeanor. This is not the way he carries himself. This is not his style. Like, either he's really, really, really good at coming off as something different, or there's no way it was him. And then after we spoke at the Music Awards, I was like, there's no fucking way this is the block. It's not even possible.
I had one fake Facebook profile. and I was thinking of using it as an alias for my rap name, and his name was Paul Mall.
Paul Mall.
Paul Mall. Pallmaul. Paul Mall. That would have been my other alias. And then even then I only had it because I was looking in on people who had blocked me. So, but I had used it.
Paul Mall, smoking the competition.
Exactly. Yeah. I used to smoke them too. So,
did you actually?
Paul Mall, yeah. So, that's kind of. And then I went on to studios because I had a studio. It's a long thing. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. No. But yeah.
I'm gonna throw a loop at you real quick, just because I am gonna share this on my Facebook, and nobody really gives the block plugs.
Okay.
Because the block's the interview guy. So in my hand is a Culture Shock magazine. For those that are watching this on my profile and have no idea what this is, what is this? Let everybody know what this is.
Culture Shock magazine is basically a magazine that is supposed to bring a positive light to the community and the culture of hip hop and business and art. So Niagara has a scene out here that isn't entirely seen in the way that it should be, I feel. And I want to call attention to artists. I want to call attention to businesses. I want to call attention to people who are doing something in the community to help develop it or to further, the growth of it. So Culture Shock is this month's edition is last month's edition features King JD on the front and as well as J Mac from SBE.
And there's a lot of local, we got Robbie G's got a thing in here. Yeah. We've got Lady Lyrics with her Camp Destroy Camp brand.
Yeah.
You got Christy Hales in here.
Yeah. We had the mayor of Niagara Falls in there as well, Jim Diodati.
Yeah.
He was interviewed
supporting on local businesses with a little menu in here.
Sir, yes, sir.
We got a lot of G3, of course.
Yeah. They're in there too. This month, I think December's edition, I already have Switch Styles article written up.
Man. You guys gotta check this out. If you follow me, make sure you guys check this out.
Give me your email. I'll send you the PDF so you can circulate in your network.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Because stuff like this is what we need to do. We're gonna grow the city. We need to support stuff like this. Is it a super elaborately made high-end magazine? No, it's an independently made magazine for the independent people in the community that are doing what they need to do and putting on for others. This is far, far more valuable to the scene than like a View. I don't know if they have the View magazine out. I think that was a Hamilton thing.
Yeah, they had I know, like they had the Metro and the 24.
The 24, yeah. This is way more valuable than the 24. This is an independent person doing an independent publication for the independent people.
I appreciate the plug, man.
No, of course.
All right.
Of course, man.
So, yeah, man, we, believe it or not, just crushed an hour and a half.
We did. We did, yeah. It was nothing.
So, y'all got to stay tuned because we're going places. We're going to make some things happen out here. And, y'all want to be on board before too long because it's happening. Like, for this to happen, y'all don't understand what else is in the works. So, just stay tuned, stay focused, stay safe, and stay vigilant. All right. Bless up.
Much love.
We out.